1,700 National Guard troops to deploy in 19 states for immigration, okay? 1,700 deploy National Guard in 19 states. And this is a Fox News story. So, including Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming to assist the Department of Homeland Security with President Trump's nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration and crime, with Texas projected to host the most significant Guard presence. The service members will support ICE by performing case management, transportation, logistical support, clerical functions, which may include personal data collection, fingerprinting, DNA swabbing, and photographing of personnel in ICE custody at a U.S. defense official stated National Guard soldiers being mobilized will effectively serve as a support pillar to a sweeping federal interagency effort while also serving as a visible deterrent force. Tom, your thoughts on this story?
Well, first of all, this is great. You know, D.C. last week, we didn't cover it, but there was a little story that slipped out last week of why this is good. They said that under pressure, political pressure, but they didn't say who, they didn't say what, they had actually been fudging crime stats in Washington, D.C. Can you believe that, Vinny? That the police department, there was two stories I saw, that they were actually fudging crime stats. So it was probably worse. These were people that were part of the police union that had since retired that said, yeah, we have been asked to move these stats. We've been moving these stats. The crime in D.C. was actually worse than
Is this
reported.
Yes, this is the Washington Police Commissioner, Greg Pemberton, talking about the manipulated stats.
Let's hear it.
Oh, this is it.
Absolutely. That's one of the chief complaints of our members when we go around and talk to them is that they respond to the scenes of these violent crimes. And inevitably, you'll have a captain or a commander or sometimes a lieutenant show up on the scene and advise them to take a report for a lesser offense. One of the things that we see them do often is sometimes there'll be a shooting or a stabbing, and if the victim is uncooperative with the police, which is not uncommon in some areas of the city, they'll be directed to take an injured person to the hospital report, which is not even a crime at all. It's an incident report. Sometimes you'll have a robbery. It'll be reported as a theft.
That's right, incident report.
Other times you'll have burglaries that are reported as unlawful entry or thefts. This is something that's been, unfortunately, part and parcel of the police department for some time, and we're very skeptical that these crime stats are accurate.
Tom.
There you go. There you go. This is the guy who's with the union trying to help the cops have good jobs, and you have a lieutenant or someone goes on the scene. Oh, this isn't a shooting. This is just an injured person. You know what an injured person is, Vinny? I looked it up.
What?
An injured person report could be this. A crackhead, let's just say, unfortunately, is out there and he falls, he goes, knocks on someone's porch, he's panhandling for money, he falls down the stairs and he's unconscious on the sidewalk.
Okay,
you know, that this is not far-fetched.
Yeah.
That's an injured person incident. Instead, they take a shooting and turn it into injured person because it affects the stats.
It's almost like, Tom,
so guess what? Not only is the National Guard needed in these cities, these blue cities, and these blue cities are trying to sound less blue, but the National Guard is actually helping. And there were clips over the weekend of like people that are doing summer jobs, selling stuff on the street. They were selling Gatorade and water and everything. They bought these big bag full of it at Costco, selling that $2 a bottle to tourists that were walking around, going to see the monuments and stuff in D.C. And they asked them what they thought about it. And they were like, well, you know, I think it's pretty good. You know, some of the police were just kind of casual about things. I think this is good. Makes me feel better. And so this is Trump, you know, doing exactly what a leader should do to address a problem. And instead, you have the Dems that don't care about what's going on in their cities, in my opinion.
Yeah, so by the way, while this is going on in San Francisco, I don't know if you saw what happened with Adrian Guerrero. I watched a video this morning. So there's this guy, Adrian Guerrero. Who knows if it's a guy or a girl? They're saying female, male. I don't know what the individual is, whether they're male or female. The name is Adrian Guerrero. He goes pulls up to them, and this is what he's telling to ICE. The video is disturbing to watch. He starts screaming at the ICE agents, okay, saying, I'm going to F you up. He also threatened to go after them
He's
and their
wearing a
family,
keffiyeh, obviously.
going to stab you during the attack by 15 anti-ICE riders who used pepper spray and punched officers. Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, our brave ICE law enforcement are now facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them as they risk their lives to arrest the worst of the worst criminals. These acts of violence are fueled by sanctuary politicians' rhetoric vilifying our law enforcement. This follows a July incident where 10 armed assailants in tactical gear opened fire on ICE agents near Dallas. All were charged with attempted murder. And if you look at this is the black knife that he had. That's Adrian Guerrero. Who knows? Again, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. Does he refer him by he or she? Can you look at that? Because Fox referred him by she. Okay,
it says
so
he threatened
keep going.
after your family.
Okay, so now watch the bottom one, the Pam Bondi tweet. Can you go to the
He's
below
wearing
the tweet?
Terrorist rag.
Right there. Watch this. Click on that picture, Rob. Okay, we've now made a total of 630 arrests and seized 86 illegal guns in D.C. 53 arrests were made yesterday, plus 24 ICE arrests and 10 guns taken off the streets. Our incredible U.S. Marshals even helped recover a missing child. Our mission to make D.C. safe, again, isn't slowing down. Go a little bit lower on the data. Right there. 630 arrests, August 21st, 86 guns seized. Tom.
And additionally, we have statistics that came out over the weekend that we are now entering our 9th and now 10th day in D.C. without a murder. And guess what's happening to the police officers? Vinny?
What?
Guess what?
What?
The regular police officers have increased the energy that they show on their patrols. You know why? They're not walking around casual anymore. You know why? Because there's leadership there and the gig is up with the false statistics. So the police that are on duty there are now actively doing their job, not just sort of hanging out and let DC happen around you. It's all around good. This is leadership by the president.
Well, here's what
and
Wes
it's a proof
Moore-
point. It's now a case study.
This is what Wes Moore said. I don't know, Rob, if you have that clip. Wes Moore responded to the president saying, keep our city's name out of your mouth. Kind of like a Will Smith moment. Is this it, Rob, or is that a different one?
I have a different one. I can play this and find that clip.
Is that about
This is about sending the National Guard
to Baltimore?
Yep.
Go for it.
Are you so opposed to this deployment?
Well, there's plenty of reasons. One, it is not sustainable. You cannot continue this type of pace of operations, particularly when it's costing over $1 million a day in order to do this. The second, it's not scalable. You're not going to be able to do this in every single major American city, particularly when many of the cities that have the highest crime rates are the places that have actually deployed their National Guards to Washington, D.C. So who's going to go do the work in their cities? The third, it's unconstitutional. It's a direct violation of the 10th Amendment. And if for a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety. The fourth reason is because it's deeply disrespectful to the members of the National Guard. As someone who actually deployed overseas and served my country in combat, to ask these men and women to do a job that they're not trained for is just deeply disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so when we're thinking about all of these lasting factors, when we're thinking about the fact that it serves as a distraction from the fact that the president's disastrous economic policies are making everything more expensive for everyday Americans and making life harder for everyday Americans. There's a multitude of reasons that I'm against this, and I will not authorize the Maryland National Guard to be utilized for this.
I have two quick questions, and I yield the floor. Question number one, how many times did he mention the stats in Baltimore? How many times?
0.
Second, how many times did he mention protecting the citizens of Baltimore?
0.
I'm done.
Okay.
Well, by the way, what they're saying right now, Tom, they are giving stats. And what they're saying is the fact that crime in Baltimore is down year over year, crime in D.C. is down year over year, and crime in Chicago is down year over year. Now, keep this in mind. This is the data that's being reported, so who knows what they're comparing it to, like going back to the data you were talking about earlier.
Were debunked.
Yes. So it's not... Their argument is it's working. What we're doing is working. Leave us alone. We got it. But the people are not agreeing with them. The people are saying, no, man, National Guard, come over here, please. We need you. Vinny, your thoughts?
I think it's ridiculous. Him, mayor of Baltimore, mayor of, New York had their problems, and then the mayor of Chicago. And mind you, but I'm going to say this, Tom, I don't want the National Guard deployed anywhere. I don't want government overreach. Nobody, like any sane person, I don't want the National Guard in these major cities, but you know what? This goes on the mayor. This goes on the governor.
Right.
Maintain your freaking state, you idiot.
Well-led cities don't need it.
No, I'm being dead serious. And the worst out of all of them is Chicago. The nightmare under Brandon Johnson. All my Chicago folks, all the Syrians in Chicago, you guys know what I'm talking about. In 2024 alone, 581 homicides. And you're right, Pat. When they're talking about the numbers, it's still almost 600 people dead, 2,600 shootings. There's more mass murders happening every freaking weekend in Chicago. The numbers are crazy. All the robberies, 1,600 carjacking. It's a war zone. They call it Chiraq for a reason. All right, and he throws all the money. By the way, this is the guy that should be giving money to fund the police. He had $600 million so far went to illegals, and that there $70 million in new property taxes to pay for that crap. All right, and meanwhile, his approval rating 6.6%. Pathetic. Okay. And then he announced, Pat, Chicago will refuse to work with ICE, and this is him basically saying, like, rise up to the citizens, which is to me is a call to action about all the National Guard. Rob, play this clip.
And so, look, we're going to remain firm. We'll take legal action. But the people in this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny.
Yeah.
And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
And as a Chicago...
Did he do a Bill Clinton, Rob?
What did he do?
For a second think he's... Go back about 10 seconds. Look, watch the 3 times right there. That's perfect. Watch this. I did not
against tyranny.
He's got
and if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
But like literally, in my opinion, the worst mayor, Pat, and this is like going up against Karen Bass and everybody. He is the worst mayor. And just in 2021, they had 797 homicides. He has more deaths in Chicago than Canada and UK combined. And forget about Lori Lightfoot.
That's 2021.
Lori Lightfoot.
You're going back.
Yeah, I'm going back.
Do you know where he's at under him right now?
What?
So 23, they were at. So it went from 700 right there. That's the one. So 2020 was 779. 2021 goes to 805. 2022 goes to 715. Then 2023, 621. Then 581. So what they're saying is it is declining. So their argument is, leave us alone. We are figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
The same thing they're saying with Baltimore went from 263 in 23 to 224. The same thing with D.C. went from 274 in 23 to 187 in 24.
Yeah.
And these are reports. These are deadly. What they're measuring here is violent crime, including homicide, robberies, carjacking, has fallen to its lowest in 30 years.
Well, good.
That's what they're saying according to DOJ, right? However, this is the part they're not saying. What they're not saying is, it is higher than any other city in America.
Period.
Yeah. So you're sitting there saying, well, give it a break, man. We're making so much progress. Yeah. You're still some of the most dangerous cities in America, and you can't get it together. And we got to find a way to get even safer, period.
Yeah.
And if the president wants to do that, he's going to clean up town. Now, the locals, what are people saying, Rob?
Point.
If you can find a clip of that one boy that's walking around in D.C. saying, how does it feel not being out? I don't know if you have that clip or not. Go ahead, Adam. Your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, the reality is American cities are unsafe. We see it all the time. Vinny brought up Chiraq. Anytime that you're comparing an American city, a great American city like Chicago, to Baghdad, Iraq, you might have a problem in some of your cities.
And they brag about it, Adam.
And Chicago's not even the worst. Memphis, Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, D.C., New Orleans, Fort Lauderdale, sometimes I hear some stories. But a lot of our American cities are unsafe. So Trump deploying the National Guard, I'm trying to see the downside from this. So it reminds me of like a story of, the joke with NATO, how like daddy's going to take over. This is a sort of a weird story. So my friends back in the day were in like middle school, and we were home alone with all our buddies all day. And our friend's mom was kind of, do whatever you want, boys, do whatever. But wait till dad gets home and you're gonna see what's going on. We decide to put on our own version of the WWE. We all picked our different wrestlers and combatants. You would have been the Iron Sheik. I'm doing the Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Junkyard Dog, or Superfly Jimmy Snuka off the top ropes. It's chaos in the living room. Pillows, fights, food fights, just absolute WrestleMania. The place is absolute crazy. All of a sudden, ding dong, Dad shows up. We freak out. We all run for the hills because we understood when Dad came home, there was going to be hell to pay. What's happening here is these cities have been run amok by single mothers, so to speak, and Daddy's home. Trump called the National Guard, and he's cleaning up the streets. So what's wrong? You don't want less murder? You don't want less crime? You don't want less rape? What's the downside? The political perception of law and order being brought to your city? To me, as long as you clean up these American cities that are held hostage by literal gang members and gun violence, I see no problem.
But Pat, can we play devil's advocate for a second? Yeah. Like, I mentioned a little bit. I don't want them. I don't want the National Guard deployed in these cities, okay? And obviously, it's their fault, meaning these Democrat, horribly run cities. How long are they going to stay at them? Because you know what? This is how it happens, Tom. They bring them in. They go, hey, we're doing it because these people aren't doing it right. At what point, you think they're just going to pack up and leave? Because you know what's going to happen. People are going to get used to it, Tommy. And they're going to be like, you know what? I'm kind of cool with the surveillance. I'm kind of cool with this. And then it becomes a freaking police state. So I'm pissed off that the Democrats let it go that far, Pat. At the same token, I don't want the National Guard. Because then who's to say they go like this? Florida's going to go, you know what? Like you mentioned, it's not that bad in Fort Lauderdale, but you know what? Give us 20 National Guard Hummers, Pat, and let them patrol the streets. There's a very thin line.
No, you're making a very. I like that you're being reasoning. I like that you're looking at both sides. I like that you're doing because that allows us to see both sides. Here's a message from. This is Seattle. A woman, a homeless. Rob, go ahead and play this clip. Watch what happens to you. Homeless woman breaks down, crying as she pleads for help in Seattle.
It's necessary for President Trump to help cities in America by bringing the National Guard troops in for extra backup?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. We need it. Come help us.
Please. We really need it here in Seattle.
Seattle used to be a pretty city. It used to be a nice place, but now it's not. Everything's closing up, shutting down because people just had it.
I don't feel safe. When I'm by myself, I'm scared a lot. I have to keep my phone in my hand because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. The other day, the smoke shop right here got robbed. Yeah, and I don't think there's as much business that there used to be.
Because people are afraid to come.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't want to spend their money when they fear for walking to the store.
I wouldn't even bring my kids down here. I have to get a babysitter if I go
You're
grocery
seeing
shopping
this,
because
right?
I don't
By
feel
the way,
safe.
this is
Homeless
coming.
lady has kids.
No, I don't think she's just there.
Make our city safe again. He could do it.
I know he has the power, and
So you see this. It's a 5-minute clip. I don't want to get into it. Now, there's the opposite of this. Rob, play the other clip of the National Guard Humvees driving around, and this man is yelling at them. Don't let them do this to you. Man just now yelled at National Guard to patrol in Washington, D.C. These are your own citizens. These are homeless people. Watch this one here. This is a very, very different reaction than what you just saw.
These are your own fucking citizens. These are homeless people. You guys are fucking group. Don't let them do this to you. It's abusive to you, and now you're gonna get fucked when you're fucked up and you have to go to the VA and they cut all your services. Refuse now. Do not do this. You have the obligation to refuse unlawful orders. Okay?
So whether this is a
Do not.
but
refuse a lawful order
Do
and then
not
go to jail.
do what?
yeah,
Like,
do
don't
not
patrol.
do this. Like
Don't
don't
listen
go
to your-
patrol. Leave it alone.
Don't clean up the streets.
If you're not gonna do it yourself, if you're not gonna do it yourself, they're not gonna do it. They're just not gonna do it. The reality is, it comes down on the individual, on the leader at the top. The president was like, "Look, I'm gonna expose you. You can say whatever you want." Pritzker is not happy. You think this is a good look for the governors of these states? Like
Nope.
Westmore is trying to run for president.
Yep.
Okay. Pritzker is trying to run for president. And Gavin Newsom is trying to run for president. Okay. Gavin Newsom is trying to run for president. We want to show you the campus, especially those of you guys that are going to the vault. So if you've already bought a ticket, great. Rob's going to put the link here for you to go register. If you bought a ticket, you get to bring a guest with you. just to see the tour. Some of you guys are going to be able to get on private jets and actually see what a private jet's like. And some of you guys are going to see some exotic cars. And I'm not just talking about some regular cars. I'm talking some very weird-looking cars that cost a couple $1 million. That'll be this Wednesday. If you haven't yet bought your ticket, we are literally 2 weeks away from the Vault Conference. This is when all of a sudden everybody starts buying the tickets and, oh my God, I got to get the ticket. I got to go, which is great, but this is causing tickets to sell out as well. If you're somebody that hasn't yet purchased your ticket, go to thevaultconference.com, thevaultconference.com. Rob, can you put the link below? Thevaultconference.com. If we have a QR code for them to go there as well, get yourself a ticket. Generals will be able to network with around 400-500 people. Platinums and executives will get a tour by a couple of our associates. Anybody that's got a founder or CEO ticket, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the entire facility. Excited to see everybody here. We're going to have some hors d'oeuvres, some food. You know, it's going to be you'll see stuff before a lot of other people will see it. So again, if you're in South Florida or surrounding, people are traveling from other countries here to just come for this. But if you haven't yet, go to thevaultconference.com, get your ticket, and go register with the link below. Add a guest. We'll see you here in 48 hours. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.